Welcome to the 2023 Nashville Area Chamber of Commerce Partnership 2030 Annual Celebration. I'm Bob Higgins, CEO of Bars Design Solutions and Chair of your Chamber's Board. This morning, as I was getting ready for this moment to be here in front of you, I thought about my Nashville, Middle Tennessee story. Next year will be 30 years that I traveled to Nashville as an intern while I was a student at Western Kentucky University, working for a utility. I come to Nashville, my wife joins me, we're running an errand for the company, and we have lunch at the Wild Horse Saloon, we have some barbecue, we look around, we say, man, we could live down here, we could move here. I applied to Vanderbilt University Engineering School, got accepted. The next year, we didn't break anything too much, but we moved down here, and that story next year will be 30 years old. And it's incredible when I look at the growth in our city, right? It's incredible. We had a young biologist join us at Barge, a graduate from Western Kentucky University, joined us, moving into one of the high-rise communities downtown, and their story's just beginning. So when you think about the job numbers that we talk about this morning, this partnership, Ralph often credits the partnership since 1990 of bringing 533,000 of those job stories to Middle Tennessee. So congratulations to you. Your investment to be here, expand here, and stay here is still playing out. So thank you. All right, after celebrating the Chamber's 175th anniversary with a record-breaking audience last year, we are excited, the team, all of us, to welcome you to our 2023 annual celebration, Collaboration in the Age of AI. So excited to be thinking about that topic this morning. Today's program will include live visual demonstrations of AI technologies, thoughts from from local business leaders, and a panel on collaboration in the age of AI moderated by Greg Jones, president of Belmont University. And looking forward to panelists from the Entrepreneur Center, TSU, and Russell Street Ventures. Our hope is if you leave today, you're informed, you're motivated, and inspired for the future of this region. We will also present the 2023 Spirit of the Region Award, recognizing an organization that's integral to the region's success and has made an enduring impact on our community. We've had a great year at the Chamber, and we couldn't do it without each and every one of you. Your investment of time, resources, and now, thanks to our sponsors who've made this moment possible for us this morning. If you'll hold your applause till I get to the end, but I want to thank first our presenting sponsors. PNC Bank and Tanger Outlets. We'll hear more from them a little later. Thank you to the companies that sponsor at the highest level of our programs, our pivotal partners. Those are Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, Community Health Systems, Gresham Smith, and Regions Bank. Thank you to our friends of the Chamber, Amazon, Bank of America, Bradley, Comcast, Core Civic, LBMC, and Miles Auto Spa. And our supporting sponsors, Kraft CPAs, Southwest Airlines, Vanderbilt University Owen Graduate School Management Executive Education, and KN Marsh CPAs, and our media partners, Tennessean, Local IQ, and Cromwell Media. Make sure to stick around until the end of the program for two special giveaways, one from PNC Bank and one from Southwest Airlines. So let's give them a round of applause, please. I'd also like to recognize any of our elected officials, past and present, if you're with us today. If you could please stand just for a moment, let's give them a round of applause. Our partnership with our elected officials is very important. All right, so as we also will welcome Couture Technologies, Darvis Inc., and The Wondery, let's thank them for their AI demonstrations during our morning networking. So thank you all for that. Before I invite Mike Johnson, Regional President of PNC Bank, to the stage, here is a video from our presenting sponsor. All right. PNC Bank was a founding partner of the Chamber's Partnership 2030 efforts and has been a consistent contributor to the economic growth of the region. Please join me in welcoming Mike.
All right, Bob's taller than I am. Sorry about that. All right, so thanks so much for being here this morning. It's great to be here with all of you for the 175th celebration. On behalf of my colleagues at PNC, many of which are here at tables 9 and 10, thank you guys for being here. We are so pleased to return as presenting sponsor. PNC Bank came on board as an original founding member of Partnership 2000. Our membership and sponsor status reflect PNC's commitment as a national Main Street bank working right here in our community to help all move forward financially. This commitment comes to life in many ways, from delivering innovative ideas and solutions to help facilitate growth for local companies, to distributing grant funding and activating volunteer efforts that create impact in Nashville and the communities we serve across Tennessee. We invest in the Nashville Area Chamber of Commerce partnership because it is an investment in the future and prosperity of our community. We have an exciting program this morning that will capture our community's uniquely collaborative spirit, and my sincere hope is that this time today will inspire all sectors within our region to work together as we collectively fuel the Nashville region's continued success. So thank you all for your support, and I'll turn it back to Bob now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike and PNC Bank. Now we want to recognize our board of directors for their leadership. Board members completing their terms on June 30th were Doug Brandon, Mary Kavara, Sam Davidson, Mark Fioravante, Al Pramick, and Carolyn Wenzel. And I also want to thank Lee Blank for his leadership of Partnership 2030. So let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. As national headlines continue to show, Nashville's economic growth is unmatched. The MSA added over 35,624 people in 2022, ranking in the top 10 in major U.S. cities with a population of at least 1 million, with a cost of living index ranked below the national average, and 10.3% in job growth. Since February of 2020, it's no surprise this past year that we announced 26 business relocations and expansions. This growth, those jobs that I was talking about, added 5,456 new jobs and a $4.7 billion investment in capital into our region. So thank you for that. That's incredible. Over the past year, we've added 316 new members, 19 partnership investment, and more than 75% of our members are small business and make up more than 80% of Middle Tennessee's workforce. If you'd like to learn more, I encourage you to scan a QR code to view our award-winning annual report and see the Chamber's impact over the last year. Now, to introduce our next speaker, I'm going to turn it over to my friend, Lee Blank, Middle Tennessee Market Executive for Regions Bank and co-chair of Partnership 2030. Lee.
Thank you, Bob. It's a pleasure to see so many of the region's collaborators, innovators, and movers and shakers with us this morning. Good morning. I'm Lee Blank. I'm Market Executive with Regions Bank, and I have the honor of serving as the co-chair of Partnership 2030. With your support, we have raised $25 million for job creation, education, talent, development, and quality of place and livability investment. As the region continues to grow and prosper, Partnership 2030 investors have emphasized the need for regional collaboration and economic inclusion so that the region's growth will expand opportunities for even more Middle Tennesseans. Our region has seen incredible growth during this iteration of the partnership plan, with our region expected to add more than 150,000 people to its workforce, $30 billion in GDP growth, and 200,000 new residents, all while maintaining a competitive landscape. The value of collaboration is a cornerstone to achieve our community goals by building on livability features for income-aligned housing, transit access, and increasing educational attainment. Collaboration moves the region forward and sets us apart from our peer cities. Collaboration ensures our region remains an attractive place to live, work, and prosper. Collaboration ensures our homegrown population has the skills and access needed to attain high-wage, high-demand jobs. Our next speaker is well-versed in the art of collaboration. He served the district we are having breakfast in this morning as the council member. He worked alongside many of us to make not only downtown Nashville, but the entire Nashville area the best place in the nation to live, work, and prosper. Historically, the partnership and the mayor have worked hand in hand to build the Nashville of tomorrow. It is my privilege to welcome the Honorable Freddie O'Connell, Mayor of Metro Nashville and Davidson County, and the new co-chair of Partnership 2030 to the stage. Please join me in welcoming Mayor O'Connell.
All right, let's give this a shot. Siri, please feed remarks into teleprompter. Nope, we've got still to do this the old-fashioned way, and we've got some work to do on today's topic. But I, for one, would like to go on record in advance thanking Skynet. I think it's important to do that. I know we had a recognition. This is an event about partnership. I know on the way in this morning, I appreciate Bob recognizing elected officials. All of this takes a mix of public leadership with private sector leadership and support, and I saw Representative John Ray Clemens, Representative Vincent Dixie, Representative Harold Love, Register of Deeds Karen Johnson, and my colleague, Councilmember Jennifer Gamble. So could we again recognize the folks that are here supporting this? And I've had a long history of working with the Chamber. And 15 years ago, we had a consequential trip out to Denver as part of the Leadership Study Mission, and it was an amazing trip to see another city in the context of so many things that we wanted to achieve here in Nashville. But it was also consequential in the fact that the Chamber and so many leaders on that trip, including then Mayor Carl Dean, came back to Nashville and began immediately applying lessons. That was the time when we established the Transit Alliance of Middle Tennessee. That was the time when we established the still critically important collaborative group of the Mayor's Caucus of Middle Tennessee, which I have personally reinvested in. In addition, years ago, I was a 3-year member of what was the Chamber's Education Report Card Committee, and I was a part of the coalition that fought back against policy prescriptions that would have had English be the only language we could use officially in the city of Nashville. The Chamber was fundamental to all of these things, and as we talked earlier about representing District 19, the Chamber's work in making the core of the city an economic platform for the whole of the city is crucial. So this is not a first event for me of this kind. This is part of a collaborative effort I've been a part of for more than a decade. So Ralph, Bob, Lee, thank you all, and I don't want to bury the lead. I've said many times that I intend as mayor to serve in the role for the city as partner-in-chief, and that is why I am excited to be here today to reestablish in the mayor's office, and for me personally, being a co-chair of Partnership 2030. This is a big deal. And you get a chance to see the framework just a few moments ago on the screen. I joked with Ralph and Lee that I felt like a lot of our campaign and policy materials had been stolen to create that framework, but that shows why this is so important. P2030 has at its heart partnership, but it is working to address, as we are in our administration, as we get started, some of Nashville's important challenges so we can take advantage of some of our most important opportunities. The mayor's office and business community must work in alignment to ensure the best opportunities and outcomes for the people of Nashville. This is why I'm also glad to be here with you today, announcing that we are restoring a regular meeting with the Nashville Area Chamber of Commerce and the mayor's office. Now, we've already said we're going to work on fundamentals, safety and schools, but we're also going to do big things over the next 4 years. We are going to build out the East Bank as a demonstration of how we do our best work building cities. We've got an incredible template with investors from Oracle to the Titans and Metro serving as master developer, collaborating with TDOT, arts organizations, building in transit and infrastructure that are going to make this a reference standard if we get it done right. The Chamber's involvement in facilitating that economic platform on the East Bank is going to be critical. We are also going to build a meaningful transit system for the city of Nashville and the region. This has long been a priority of the Chamber for as long as I have been working with this organization, and it will continue to be a priority for our administration. So many of you in this room are going to be invited to help join what is a conversation before it becomes implementation, but this is going to be one of our 4-year priorities. We're going to make sure the city is also maximizing the toolkit that keeps workforce development on pace with economic development, including the delivery of affordable housing. The P2030 framework that you saw is going to be an important element of this work. We're going to have to continue to focus on some of the challenges that our growth has brought that have been a factor in both the Chamber and the CVC actually departing the area adjacent to the entertainment district. The Chamber's involvement in designing a reasonable regulatory framework has been fundamental to taking steps in the right direction here. And finally, with the world's complexity increasing, we're going to need to restore the spirit of a Nashville for all of us that the Chamber was so deeply involved in years ago, and so many of us in this room are going to need to reinvest in today. And last night, I was at the Entrepreneur Center's Next Awards with Dr. Isaac Adai, who has joined our team recently to focus on the interactions of the entrepreneurial and small business community with our administration. It was great to get to introduce him to that room. And as I stand here today, I am going to tease what we are expecting will be some very exciting announcements in terms of the remainder of the development of our administration over the next few weeks. My staff told me I couldn't make any announcements today about that, but I do want to let you know we do have some exciting news to share very soon, so stay tuned to that. I look forward to co-chairing this important work, building upon this incredible framework, and as someone whose background is software and information technology, I'm especially interested in today's topic. So thank you very much for having me today.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Ralph Schultz. I'm CEO of the Nashville Area Chamber of Commerce. Great to see this crowd out here. And Mayor O'Connell, thank you for those remarks. Thank you for accepting the co-chairmanship of partnership. You know, public-private partnership is what has brought us to this point after the last 30, 35 years. It is so crucial to have that collaboration and that engagement. And as the mayor said, there will be major undertakings occurring in these coming years, and each and every one of you are going to be an important ingredient to making those big projects, those big things happen. Starting with transit, I heard that applause starting when just the reference of transit occurred. Transportation, a big deal. Just keep in mind that it's going to be very important for us to be directly involved in that activity. So get ready. Buckle your seatbelt. Before we present our Spirit of the Region Award, I'd like to recognize a couple of special guests who are with us this morning in the audience. You know, as chamber staff, as we were preparing for this gathering, we remembered a year ago at this time when one of our team was making her way to this event and experienced a devastating accident as she was crossing James Robertson Parkway in a crosswalk early in the morning to be here. After the Christmas Day bombing, the downtown Christmas Day bombing, she had become a face of the recovery and the resilience of Second Avenue. And she has once again demonstrated that indomitable spirit that defines the very essence of the champion that is Betsy Williams. The accident Betsy experienced is one that most of us would not have been able to survive. When we heard from her medical team a few days later that she would in fact make it, we were also told that her road to recovery would be long and difficult. And it was just another special reminder of how special Betsy is to us, her wife Kim and her family, and to the countless of us who are lucky enough to call her a friend. Betsy, we just want to say on behalf of the Chamber and all of Nashville, thank you. Thank you for your leadership, your tenacity, your unwavering commitment, and the example of resilience that you continue to provide to this community. You're a force to be reckoned with, and we are so glad you are with us today. And she walked in on her own today, and let me tell you, that was a long road to recovery. Betsy, where are you? Right over there. Thank you, Betsy. Spirit of the Region honorees are chosen based on business excellence and advancing prosperity on behalf of Middle Tennessee. Today, we have the honor of recognizing the BNA Nashville International Airport for its contributions as an economic driver to the region and the community. Out of curiosity, I'm kind of curious to know, how many of you have flown through BNA this year? Oh, good. Let me ask this. How many of you haven't flown out of BNA this year? Okay, nobody's going to admit it. Over the 2023 fiscal year, BNA served a total of 21.9 million passengers. That's an 18.7% increase from its record-breaking 2022 year. BNA is more than a transit point. It is a catalyst for business, a driver for tourism, and a beacon of innovation. Recent expansion projects have created over 2,000 jobs, injected hundreds of millions into the local economy, and set the stage for Nashville to become a pivotal connection point between the East and West Coast. From fostering international trade relationships to elevating our profile as a destination for business and leisure alike, BNA's impact is multidimensional. Its commitment to sustainability, community outreach, and technical innovation positions BNA as an integral ingredient to the region's long-term economic success. We cannot underestimate the strategic role this airport will play as we embrace a future increasingly shaped by artificial intelligence and digital transformation. Now here's a video of our friends at BNA. So on behalf of the Nashville Area Chamber, we present the BNA Nashville International Airport with the 2023 Spirit of the Region Award for its leadership and contributions to our region. Accepting the award on behalf of BNA is President and CEO Doug Crulin. Let me just say one quick thing, and that is, the airport is a vital economic asset for this community, and that airport stays just in time on its delivery of services to this area. And I know Doug would probably tell you just one step ahead, but I think we all experience the great advantage that that BNA provides us. So Doug, congratulations and thank you.
Thank you to Ralph and to Bob for this award. I thought that Ralph was already using AI because I declined the appointment that I received from the chamber for this event for another conflict, and he calls me about 30 seconds later and says, "What are you doing?" And I didn't know about the award, so I canceled something else. So I could use a little AI and keep track of what Ralph and the team are doing here at the chamber. Mayor O'Connell, thank you for your leadership. We look forward to working with you. I'm most proud of Table 8. That's the staff of the Airport Authority that made everything that you saw on that video possible. We have been working for approximately 6 years to get to where we are today. We're on our next 6-year plan, so we know what we want to do between now and 2028. And we're moving forward with the next plan that follows that one. It'll take us into the 2030s. Our biggest challenge at the airport is we don't want to let you down. So I hope everybody's hands went up that you flew out of BNA, but we don't want to let you, your families, or your businesses down. We want to be able to connect you to where you want to go in the world, and we're on our way to doing that. Last year was remarkable. Even including the pandemic numbers, we have been growing at greater than 10% for more than 10 years in a row. Last year, we grew at the 18.9%. This year, and that brought us to the 21.9 million passengers we saw last year. When we get to June 30th of next year, our forecast now is to be bigger than 24 million. We're averaging about 10% higher than last year's 18.9. So we have a challenge to try to keep up with you and your businesses, and we want to make sure that we're providing the services that the mayor and the rest of Middle Tennessee need. So on behalf of the staff, couldn't be prouder. Makes me want to cry watching that video, but you all have done a great job. I'm so proud to be a part of your team, and thank you, Nashville, for allowing us to build a bigger airport. Thank you.
All right. Congratulations to the airport team. We have an incredible experience still in store for you all here with us today. Is a leader in AI technology development and deployment, Darvis Inc. They're trailblazing virtual mapping and that combines with the AI computer system to take about vision and data management to solve some complex problems and inefficiencies, help with collaboration, and it's the core of what Darvis does. Their focus on melding client needs with the latest of the tech is what makes them so unique. I'd like to welcome Darvis co-founder and COO, Jan Schluter, who will provide a visual demonstration of how AI technologies are being developed and deployed around the world, all from right here in Nashville. Jan.
Is my, oh, it's on, yes. Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Bob, for the kind introduction. I hope you enjoyed your lunch at 8. It's something that people in the US do. That's okay. So, my clicker. Here is my clicker. So, yeah. Today I give you a little bit of a crash course about computer vision and AI. So I talk about usage of AI and computer vision because I'm pretty sure 99% of you have no idea what AI is or even what computer vision is. So let's help you out with that. So we are preparing a little presentation, and I start with the first introduction, and then we have a little presentation, and then I finish up. So, usage of AI and computer vision. And the clicker doesn't work. It does. So, AI and computer vision are creating a generational leap in operational efficiency by collaborating, and today's topic is collaboration with AI, by collaborating with the human workforce. So, you can read, of course, computer vision is vision computed, but let me explain a little bit how it actually works. It works like, normally should there be a child on it? Doesn't matter. It works like you would train an object to a child. Meaning, if you see the human vision, there would be a child asking, "Hey, Daddy, what's that?" And Daddy would say, "This is a brown bear, my child." And the kid would say, "Oh, that's neat." And through maybe books or documentary, through other peers, the kid would understand at some probability this is a bear. Even when it sees a polar bear, a black bear, or a teddy bear, whatever, it would say with a high probability, this is a bear. So how does it work with computer vision? Basically the same, but slightly different. There's no family involved. To tell the machine this is a bear, it's much more complex. It's a vast amount of input of clips, images, even drawings, to tell the machine directly, this is a bear. And sometimes, and that's where Doris comes into play, with a sensing device. So the sensing device sees stuff much better than humans would do. So it's a superpower, basically. It understands bear even in the night. It could see the thermal reaction of a bear, or even hyperspectral. So we are talking about the superpower of AI. And instead of the bear, you just take any object that is relevant to your operation. It's just a simple example, but could be a forklifter, could be a box, could be a human being, could be anything, and it has the same effect on how to work with computer vision. So everyone is talking about AI constantly, and again, I'm about to give you a crash course about what is computer vision. Is it just a toy? No, it's not. It actually is a rhetorical question. Computer vision can help today's business to automate tedious tasks. What is a tedious task? What would you consider as a tedious task? Calendar work, or automated or manual scanning of barcodes, doing stuff manually. Computer vision can do it much better, in AI even well. So I hope that my colleague Craig is on, because I'm now broadcasting live to our AI lab in Nashville, and we see a demo live from there. So Craig, can you see me? Can you hear me? The stage is yours.
Hey everyone, sorry about that. Thanks so much for the introduction, Jan. Hopefully you guys can hear me. My name is Craig Cartwright. I'm a project lead here at Darvis, and we're coming to you live, straight from our headquarters and Innovation Center and Innovation Lab in the heart of Nashville, Tennessee, in the Metro Center complex. So basically, before I go into the demonstration, I really want to reiterate what Darvis is doing, especially with computer vision. Imagine if, one second, sorry. Imagine if you had unlimited budget and you could watch 24/7. That is Darvis. Any process that matters to you most, any high value asset that you might lose, that you need eyes on at all times. Imagine if you could hire somebody to watch 24/7, no holidays, no rest. That's the future that we're living in now, and it's all possible through computer vision and through AI. So let's go ahead and go inside our innovation lab here, where we are actually recreating our client environments to create better models for those that adopt Darvis. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, and everyone should be able to see it. Okay, so you should be able to see our first use case called wait time in line. This is basically a retail efficiency standard use case where we're evaluating wait times to help increase the efficiency of getting people through your store in record time. You can see here as well that I'm standing inside of a digital zone. These zones are completely manipulable. You can draw them in real time. You can turn them on and off, redraw them at will if you need to evaluate multiple lines, a brand new spot in your facility, etc. You can also see that privacy is a major concern of ours. Through the camera, my face is being blurred at all angles in real time. And you can see our glorious cameraman Vic here also being blurred for the purposes of privacy. What you can see here too is that I'm tracking a dwell time. You can see there that I've basically been in this line for about 40 seconds. Now, if I walk up into the window space, you can see that my box also turns green, but restarts the tracker time. The reason is because there's two separate zones. You can also click on anybody to make them a searchable asset in your facility. That's people, boxes, high value assets. It doesn't really matter. We train with cameras to basically look at your process and let you know exactly what's happening. But better yet, I'm going to go to the KPIs at this point. You can see that there's one person waiting in line at the window, but you can see that there's two total people in the store. You can also see some statistics we were training and testing this morning. Additionally, each KPI is filterable, so you can untoggle all of them. You can choose any combination of the three, any combination of the 15, I mean, and all of this, it can be adopted through an agnostic camera system. So we actually only sell the software, and it basically integrates into your existing security system. So there's no need to actually purchase a proprietary hardware camera system. It's a pretty cool feature, and it's just one example of what's capable with adopting Darvis. I'm going to move on to a separate use case for the sake of time. You should now be able to start seeing on the screen some sterile containers. Darvis is ultimately focused on healthcare, especially being headquartered in Nashville. So here inside of our high value asset room, you can see that we've recreated a high value asset storage container. Those are sterile surgery kits, and you can see that each one of them has their barcode decoded by our camera system through the Darvis neural network. The reason for that is because it basically takes away the manual process of accidentally forgetting to scan an asset every time that you take it out of central supply. So what I'm going to showcase now is basically if I clear this OCR cache, you can see that the barcodes will disappear. You also have a note in the top left that says the camera is currently zoomed in. Now I'm going to share another tab where you're actually going to get a live look through the lens of the camera. No one is actually manipulating this camera right now in our high value asset room and the storage room, yet it's zooming in real time and it's reading those barcodes as we speak. You can see there that it initiated a scan process. And basically in this use case, it's decoding what vendor has dropped off the sterile supply kit. You can also see here that as this happens, I'll go ahead and go back to the last tab. It starts assigning that barcode data to each kit that it scans. So there you can see the initial scan of Darvis, of course, with the barcode there. But we can decode basically anything from special characters to license plates, manufacturing 128 barcodes. It doesn't really matter. We're able to read it through our camera system. And again, it's all agnostic to the cameras that you have. So that's a little look at what Darvis is capable of. I really appreciate your time today, and I really appreciate you spending it with us. And so now I'm going to go ahead and toss it back to Jan while we continue innovating. Thank you, everyone.
So thank you, Craig. I don't know if you can hear me, but we wave each other, that's fine. So let me wrap it up. So what we do is we transform the puzzle of a vast visual data into the big picture. So, and providing context. You heard the expression content is king. In our, let's say, market, in our context is king. And with the data that we are collecting, we are able, doing this transition from, I would say it's called hunch guessing operation into a operational accountability. With this extra layer of information, you have real-time information about your operation. and it's an ongoing improvement process. With that layer, you then, let's say, can display all the information to the people, the operational staff, the people who are in the need to know, and continue your operation, make it much more efficient. And Craig already spoke about it. It's not some legend that we are trying to create. It's already there. It's like a ready, set, go today application. You tap into a camera network, use a little bit of compute power, put a little bit Darvis magic in it, and then you start extracting real-time information from second one. And that was the crash course of computer vision in AI, and I hand over to Ralph, I guess. Hey, here you are. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks, Jan, and the Darvis team for that demonstration. What an incredible example of how AI technologies are solving real-world problems, all in Music City. So now we're going to introduce our panel, but before we do that, we'd like to hear a few of our audience members' thoughts on AI. Roll it.
What are your thoughts about AI overall?
I think AI, you know, he was a great basketball player. I loved watching him play. You know, we're talking about Allen Iverson, right? I'm sorry, I had to do that. I had to, I'm sorry.
It will change our lives in every way.
Well, I'm still learning a lot about it.
AI is, to me, just in its infancy.
I'm intrigued by it. It's maybe something I spend a lot of time looking at recently.
So I am an AI lover.
And I think AI is a great head start. It's a great place for people to start with a blank sheet of paper and see what gets created.
I tried to write a lease. So I said, write me a lease agreement using Alabama real estate law. And it wrote me a lease agreement in like 10 seconds. So I called my lawyer and said, man, you're fired.
I think AI is a great new advancement in human technology. I think it's a great way for us to get information, analyze information in a really efficient way that we've never seen before. But I also think it's not really anything more than that. I think a lot of people are really overhyping it or making it seem as if like it's this existential thing. And I think really it's just another technological innovation. With each new technological innovation, there's always excitement around it. There's always people who are maybe a little bit fearful, have some doubts. But over time, we adapt to it, we use it, and it just becomes ubiquitous.
AI is going to impact our industry, I believe, for the positive. Supply chain is an issue in our industry, and AI can help control that supply chain and bring us well-informed decisions when we're constructing our projects.
I am always optimistic individually, but I have concerns about how people will use it and the relationship that it will have with people.
Our community is already behind. There's already a huge gap when it comes to digital literacy. So really, that's my only concern is like, how can we equip the community with, whether it be becoming a prompt engineer or like really figuring out ways that they can really adopt it into their everyday learning or everyday, parts of life.
In our industry, I think it's going to help us make better decisions and help our customers make better decisions. But kind of the proof's in the pudding. We're watching it and learning from it just as much as it's learning from us.
Really what we've been trying to do is eliminate a lot of the waste. So that comes with being able to go online and know exactly how something's going to look or fit on your body, and that's all powered by AI.
How are people's privacy protected? How is data stored? If I type in a question or what personal attributes of mine are ultimately being stored and then further indexed.
So one question I've been thinking about is with new technology, especially really big advances in technology, there's always new jobs that come from it, right? If you think about something like the internet when it was being created, it created a lot of jobs that didn't exist before. And I think, a lot of people maybe have some concerns about AI automating some jobs or taking some jobs, but really I'm interested and I'm curious about what are the types of jobs that an innovation like AI is going to create in the future, which I think is really exciting.
How we gather the information, that's my biggest question. I know we gather a lot of information along the internet, but when we're looking at all of that information and deciphering it, who is gaining, again, what the truth is?
I think like lots of emerging technologies, it's kind of hard to understand where to start and how to find your path into AI at this point. But I think, I've always been somebody who believes you can never stop learning. So trying to explore the different solutions, the different applications and the different uses is something I'm intrigued about.
Well, we're gonna need collaboration because, everybody's still trying to figure it out. How can we still enhance the workforce? Okay, how can we prep everybody to get ready for what's about to happen? And really tapping into the corporations and seeing what ways are they're implementing it and then what's going to be their greatest need.
I think it can have a great effect in the clinical arena, in the education arena, in the research arena, and also in operations.
Well, we know that AI is going to be a fundamental force in the way we approach business going forward. And collaboration is going to be important. That human interaction, not only with AI, but with each other, is going to be affected by AI. AI is going to be an advantage at the starting line. It's going to help people to understand data, understand opportunity and challenge. And that, I think, is going to create more opportunity for human leadership.
What can generative AI do from a predictive nature around things like cancer outcomes, rare genetic diseases? Again, way out of my depth in terms of understanding, but I think if I could wave my magic wand and if the capabilities truly existed, I think there's a huge wealth of opportunity.
What would AI do for me? It would help me catch more fish. It would let my motorbike ride without me so that I could get on and off to stretch a little. But I don't know, I think just the idea that you can get more comprehensive answers to questions and save you time. I'm 60 this year and the only currency that I don't have enough of is time. So if AI can find a solution to give me back time that I spend doing useless things, that would be incredible, and be able to use them to do the things I love.
So thanks to all of our responders to that video for their great insight. With no further ado, I'd just like to introduce the panel, the moderator of our panel, Greg Jones. I think everybody in this room knows Greg Jones. He's known to Nashville and been a part of Nashville for even longer than he has been the president of Belmont University. He was the dean of the Duke Divinity School, provost of Baylor University, author or editor of numerous books, serves on many nonprofit boards and organizations in Nashville. He is an ordained Methodist pastor and is married to the Reverend Dr. Susan Pendleton Jones. Together they have 3 married children, 4 granddaughters. Join me in welcoming Greg Jones.
Thank you, Ralph. It's a great joy to be here this morning with this distinguished panel. To set the context, William Powers published a book about 13 years ago in 2010 called Hamlet's Blackberry. It looked at the history of technology and its interactions with culture. We forget that the pencil was actually a technological innovation, as was writing. And throughout history, every time there's a new innovation, there's anxiety created, There are both utopians who think it will solve all problems of the world and pessimists who fear it's the beginning of the decline of all civilization. But what Powers pointed to was the interaction between technology and culture. The technology presents new tools, and the question is, to what ends do human beings put them? Nashville is an incredible community that's long been noted for collaboration, for entrepreneurship, for education, for advances in healthcare, more recently in technological innovation. And so the question is, how can we take this new phenomenon called AI that's going to accelerate change in all sectors and in all roles, and how can we use that as a force for good? How can we draw out the collaboration that's marked Nashville so that AI can be another tool for the advancement of our region and for the flourishing of all people? We have a distinguished panel this morning to talk about that. Sam Davidson, the CEO of the Nashville Entrepreneur Center, Dr. Robbie Melton, who is Vice President for Technology Innovations and Interim Provost at Tennessee State University, and Brad Smith, who's at Russell Street Ventures, Main Street Health, and also Executive Chairman of CareBridge. So we're delighted to have you all with us. I want to just begin by asking each of you about your own personal engagement with AI.
Yeah, it's something that I've used as a tool in a couple different ways. And I think generative AI for us, for all of us, potentially is greatest right now in going from nothing to something. And so we saw Josh Mundy talk about a lease agreement. We heard Ian Ayers with our soccer team talk about getting that time back. And so it's great for a first draft. I wouldn't trust it all the way yet with a final draft, but in just getting started, which really aligns nicely what we do every day with our entrepreneurs at the EC, is help them go from nothing to something. And so I think that's where Gen AI is right now, is it's producing a lot of great first drafts across all industries.
Robbie?
Welcome, everyone, and life is good. On behalf of education, my engagement with AI goes all the way back before computers. I'm here to share with you all, it is transformative. And again, you're going to learn from this panel about the good, the bad, and oh my gosh, about artificial intelligence. But on behalf of Tennessee State University, shout out to the smart table back there. We have been researching AI for years. You're hearing of AI, it's another name. It's a technology tool, everyone, and it will transform education.
So my experience with AI is probably like a lot of people in the room, which is logging on to ChatGPT, asking it hard questions and seeing if you can fool it. So no, but I'd say in healthcare, it's really about the use cases, and I'm sure we'll get into that more. But there's use cases where it's working and can be used. There's use cases that people are hopeful about, but where you really need to make sure it's very safe and accurate. And so I think it's really an evolving time, and we're thinking about it a lot as we think about different businesses.
What excites you most, Brad, about healthcare and AI as you think about?
I think the potential for it probably excites me the most. So I'm in this small group that gets together once or twice a year, but it has the person who's running AI for two of the largest tech companies in healthcare across the country. And they were giving an example where there's on one of their sites, you can like drop in an image basically. And they don't train the AI, but somebody dropped in an EKG. Which is your heart, and it read the EKG accurately, and they had no idea that it could read an EKG. So I think when you hear a story like that, it just makes you realize what could be possible. Obviously, dropping an image onto a website and having your EKG read is also a little worrisome potentially in certain ways, but it lets you know just how large the magnitude is of what could potentially happen.
Sam, I say a lot that entrepreneurship's a team sport. People think it's an individual kind of thing. The Nashville Entrepreneur Center is designed to bring people together to collaborate as a team sport. How's AI affecting the work at the Entrepreneur Center?
Yeah, I think in a few different ways. And you're absolutely right in that we really believe that some of the best things for any entrepreneur that we can offer our community is community. And that our entrepreneurs will go farther faster by taking others with them. In fact, that's the best way to do it. If you look at successful companies, every single one, both data-backed and anecdotal, talks about having access to a mentor. And so that's something that we do and have done since the EC started 13 years ago, was be able to connect aspiring entrepreneurs with seasoned mentors. A lot of that connection now is digital. And so some of that grew out of the pandemic when face-to-face meetings couldn't happen. So we have a way that an entrepreneur can search our advisor database and find an expert on AI, finance, fundraising, HR, whatever it might be. And so I think as we move forward, we will rely on emerging technologies like generative AI to help make that match even faster and perhaps even more deeply. I think Gen AI and these tools like ChatGPT can get you information, but I wouldn't say that it can yet get you mentorship. And again, that implies a deeper relationship. Last night, we got a chance to, with 800 of our friends, to celebrate some of our foremost entrepreneurs at our Next Awards. And every single one of them talked about, as part of their journey, that they didn't do it alone. Even though it was just maybe one founder being recognized as part of that, they had customers, they had funders, they had a board, they had employees, they had all of these cheerleaders behind them to get to the next level. I don't think AI is yet creating friendships, but it's at least creating connection, which could be the start of that.
Thanks. Robbie, education. You're preparing a new generation of leaders. How is AI affecting your work at TSU and how you think about educating college students and preparing them for the changing workforce?
Oh, it is a change agent, everyone. When I say to you, you can create a template for a dissertation in seconds. You're talking about screams around the world. When you say you've been wanting to write a book, now we have a tool that can take that from your brain and put it into words in seconds. When I say a course syllabus that I can create instantly, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here on behalf of education to say we are scared. And what about cheating and how will the students learn? I want you to leave here today knowing artificial intelligence, open AI, will make us teach better, learn better, because now we move to higher order thinking skills. All of that rote memory, life is good, put it into AI, bam. But how do you apply that knowledge? How do you analyze it and personalize it? Again, on behalf of the new world of education, we're saying the same thing with academic esports. Our students are out there video gaming, pathway it into our careers. But AI is behind all of these things. So I'm happy, everyone, listen, bring on AI because now we're talking a new age of teaching and learning.
That's great. Brad, as you're looking at ventures and you're looking at the kind of people you want to invest in and hire for various activities in healthcare, how is AI changing the kind of skill sets and character traits that you're looking for?
Well, I think it's still early, and I kind of made the joke about my experience using it being ChatGPT online, but that's actually true, right? We don't use it in our companies today, right? We use machine learning, we use neural networks, we use kind of a number of technologies, but I think we're still trying to figure out like exactly what is the box of AI and what are the things that it can and can't do. And as I think across the healthcare spectrum, I think there are places where we see it working, there are places where we see it being experimented with, and there are places where we think it might be able to work, and I'll just give like a few examples of those. So one of the places where we see it working really well is in radiology, so reading x-rays. So there are a lot of good apps out there or kind of tools that basically will read the x-ray before the radiologist reads it and will, for example, circle where a bone might be broken or where something might be abnormal and will give out a potential diagnosis. And then it can kind of kick it out for a radiologist to review with like a probability of how accurate it is. So it's not replacing the radiologist 100%, but it's massively increasing how fast they can, for example, read scans. So I would say that's an example of it working today and being in real life use. You know, there are places where there's a lot of experimentation happening. So as you guys know, in healthcare, there's a lot of interactions that have to occur between doctors and health plans that are administrative in nature to get, for example, approval for procedures. Nobody likes that. Doctors don't like that. The plans don't like it. It's an administrative burden. Patients hate it. And so there's a lot of experimentation happening around that. So for example, Gates Foundation is funding a study up at Harvard with one of the health plans up there to be able to go through their EMR record and create the sort of the documentation that you need to be able to get automatic approval from the health plan, so that rather than having to wait for approval from the health plan, simply by creating the order, all of the background happens around pulling the documentation, checking it against the algorithm, and seeing if you can get through. Use cases for that are still very, very specific. It's like, if you have this EMR and you're looking for a hip replacement, the AI works. But if you don't have that EMR, it doesn't pull it the right way and it could be wrong. I'd say the third example that people are optimistic about, but is probably the most exciting, but also the most complicated, is, could you go online and could you get healthcare advice, right? And could you just type something in and hear back? As you guys probably know, AI can do something called hallucinate, is what they call it, but it's basically where it says something that's like really wrong. And if you're trying to pick a restaurant or decide we're going to go on a vacation, that's probably okay. But if you're trying to figure out what medicine you should take, or if you need to go to the ER, that's probably not okay. And so I think there's still a lot of learning that has to happen for kind of the more patient-facing use cases, but some of these administrative use cases I think are a little bit easier, especially when it's just the first layer of scanning before a person reviews kind of the outlier cases.
That's great, thanks. Sam, how do you see jobs developing in AI? There are lots of debates about, and worries that AI is going to eliminate a whole host of jobs, but with every technology, some jobs go away and other jobs get created. How do you see that happening through entrepreneurial ventures? And
yeah, I mean, it's easy, sort of to what you alluded to. There can easily be a knee-jerk reaction to, great, this is going to be a job killer. But if you look at the long history of technology, going back to the pencil if you want, we've always had net jobs created. I mean, you saw that on the slide earlier. So even if certain jobs are eliminated because these sort of rote tasks that we saw the demo of are eliminated or shortened or lessened, then other jobs are still created. And those usually do tend to be higher wage jobs, higher level of thought processes. So ultimately, it will be a net job creator. I have no doubt about that. The question is, what kind of jobs is going to be that net creation? I didn't come up with this. We've heard lots of folks say it, but AI won't take your job, but someone who understands AI will take your job. And so I think that's the critical piece, is you don't have to be the expert, but you might need to hire the expert, or you might need to start analyzing what opportunities that's going to open up in terms of job creation or job shifts when it comes to AI.
Robbie, in your role as provost, not so much in technology innovations, you've got to persuade faculty who are prone to think otherwise sometimes, that they need to prepare for the jobs of the future. How are you trying to reshape the ways in which, not only the ways people teach, but the content of what they teach to prepare students to move into jobs that AI are going to be creating and making possible?
Yes, life is good. Yes, again, everyone, this is a major change in higher education. And working with faculty, you have to actually demonstrate, teach, and work with our partners. When I hear of what's happening in AI and healthcare, for all of those in STEM, that's amazing. It's almost like a miracle. When we hear of the jobs and the innovation, those things really rev up our faculty and staff to know it is here and it's not going anywhere. You will know that I wear technology. My jewelry is technology. Yes, everyone, I'm wearing a full motherboard, Raspberry Pi computer. I have to look different. We have to talk differently regarding the impact of technology. And again, to help faculty, I'm a faculty member. I have to teach. They have to see that pathway from what we are teaching to you all in terms of the job market. I have to say this on behalf of Nashville, Tennessee. When I received the call to come and be on this panel, I was amazed and shocked that our city has taken that view of artificial intelligence where everyone else is still going, oh my gosh. So if nothing else, shout out to Nashville, because this technology will transform in higher education. Yes, it's going to take us a minute, but we're going to get there.
Hope so. Brad, how do you see the healthcare workforce changing as a result of AI, and how ought that to affect the way in which higher education trains people for that healthcare workforce?
Yeah, so I would say a lot of healthcare is about relationships and interacting with patients, and in many cases, hands-on care. And so I think for that part of the healthcare workforce, nurses, social workers, doctors, it's going to be more enabling versus replacing. There's still a lot of administrative burden in healthcare, especially in these provider plan interactions. And a lot of that is still like faxing medical records, pulling data out of EMRs, things like that. That's where I think there's the most opportunity in healthcare for technology and automation and AI to continue to drive down cost and improve accuracy, but it probably does it in a way that it could replace jobs over time. And so I think it goes back to things that are relationship-driven roles. You can't replace that with technology, and things that are higher order thinking roles are always going to be things that people need to be doing. It's the more administrative, manual, data collecting tasks that are more likely to be automated in the future.
And that will be a relief to a lot of healthcare people. Sam, Robbie was talking about Nashville and the shout out of even talking about this. What do you think positions Nashville really well for collaboration in the age of AI, and what worries you that Nashville's not ready for it?
I think Nashville, and having been here since second grade, Nashville has, to me, always been a city that says, come on, come on. And so whether that's attracting companies to relocate here, whether that's supporting organizations like ours that came out of an initiative of the Chamber, it's always, hey, that's a good idea, let's try it, let's chase it down. And so AI is one of those. To Dr. Melton's point, I mean, the fact that this body is discussing this topic is a key indicator that this is something worth paying attention to. In contrast, I mean, 2 years ago, around this time, Bitcoin was at an all-time high. I was not at, I don't recall the 174th celebration, but I don't think there was a panel on crypto and blockchain or Web3. Again, not that that's not still a thing or a technology to think about, but clearly AI has already separated itself from that. And so a city that is attracting tech talent, that has more tech jobs than ever, that is beating out a lot of peer cities in terms of technology, this is a critical way that it's going to be able to do that. That's with large anchor companies relocating or opening second or third headquarters here, but it's also with new ideas that people are coming to the table with. So I've been at the EC almost 4 months, but I've had dozens of conversations with startups who are incorporating some form of AI from the start, and that are building their entire value proposition or their features and benefits to small and large companies as clients with this idea in mind. And so as long as we can attract those ideas, along with the bigger corporations that are bringing a wealth of talent, then I think the city is well poised, not just to understand this technology, but whatever it is we want to talk about in 2 or 4 or 6 years at this same event.
What worries you about Nashville's readiness?
Yeah, so my worry is a couple things, and I'm excited to see again the partnership has been sort of reignited, I'll say, with the Chamber and the Mayor's office, because I think there's a lot of folks in the city now that are pointing the same direction for the vision of the future of the city. So I think it's a couple things. I think one is to make sure that we still become a desirable place to live, and a lot of that makes sure we're an affordable place to live. And so I'm excited to hear that there's going to be a lot of talk around that. I think a desirable place is also a place that folks can get in and around. And so my question would be, is this a tool that can help still make Nashville a desirable city? But to me, it all also comes back to a place where you can feel like you belong. And so how is AI enhancing community? And I don't want Nashville, I don't want anybody to squander the opportunity that this can provide. Think back a decade, 15 years, when social media promised to connect us like never before. Research shows, especially that's come out in the last decade, that as a species, we have never been more lonely. Across all demographics, all genders, all ages, a higher level of loneliness has been reported in the last 15 years than ever before. 1 in 10 women, 1 in 6 men have no close friendships. But I thought social media was supposed to connect us. It was supposed to create these real-world encounters, and it just hasn't. And that's on us. That's on the users. That's on the creators, the inventors of us. So if AI is going to save us all this time, my pushback immediately is, what are you doing with that time? Are you tucking your kids in? Are you going to dinner with your partner? Are you taking a nap? Are you reading a book? Are you going for a walk? Are you enjoying something around you? Because Every time I answer a bunch of email, I just get rewarded with a bunch more email to answer. Work always seems to just sort of fill whatever space you give it. And so my hope is that Nashville can also lead the way in saying this is transforming lifestyles, and this is a city where you can enjoy that lifestyle by still connecting in these sorts of ways.
Brad, how about you? What excites you most about Nashville's readiness? What excites you most about Nashville's readiness to lead collaboration in the age of AI, and what worries you the most?
Yeah, I'd say Nashville is definitely the best place in the country to start a healthcare company. One, we've always had great healthcare companies here, investors, mentors, but even over the 10 or 12 years I've been doing it, it's really changed, and Nashville's continued to be a hub. So when we started our first company in 2012, I was traveling to New York, San Francisco, Chicago for all my investor meetings. Now all my investor meetings are in Nashville. People have either moved here, opened an office here, or coming here frequently for board meetings. So it's a huge change. I would say, especially in early stage companies, there's a big difference between kind of being the best and being second or third best. Sometimes second or third best means you don't make it. And I would say on the technology front, we have some really good engineers here. There are folks moving here, but still we don't have a Stanford, MIT, Carnegie Mellon that's producing like the very top engineering technology talent. People like Oracle moving here. Oracle owns one of the two biggest EMRs in the country. So if that relocates some of their folks here, that's like a very good thing, I think, for the healthcare community. But I'd say we're very far ahead on services in the healthcare field. I think in technology, Boston and San Francisco are still the hubs, but we're making up ground quickly.
And what worries you about our readiness?
Our voices. We have to be at the table as this technology is evolving. Underrepresented groups must be there. Our culture, our Nashville culture, must be at the table. You have to remember, behind the scenes of all of this AI, you're still talking humans. And we together have to be there to make sure we're represented as this technology comes out. I'm very proud to share on behalf of Tennessee State University and our partner university, private and public, that we are now, sorry about MIT, have a center where we are researching, looking at AI in terms of teaching and learning, and it's open to the public. Right here in downtown Nashville on our Avon Williams campus, come see AI. Look and see what it can do. Let us train you all. Everyone, coding is behind all of this. So we have to look at coding as what our fourth, reading, writing, arithmetic, coding. Again, and it starts at the preschool level. So again, I'm worried that our schools are not embracing. They are trying to ban it. Don't ban it. Let's look at the possibilities, the opportunities, and then we can shape it for the betterment.
Ravi, I want to follow up. Thank you for that. I want to follow up with you. Sam mentioned that social media and how we're now lonelier than ever and coming out of the pandemic. Certainly mental health issues for young adults didn't get created by the pandemic, but it got intensified. How can we use AI? How are you thinking about that in the college environment to help create a sense of community and collaboration and connection so that it can actually enhance our humanity rather than detract from it?
And yes, and I'm old enough to share with you all, social media in my time was a party line where 4 families shared one phone, okay? Again, when we talk about today and AI and loneliness, the need of belonging, again, it's about the collaboration, it's about the partnership. But again, AI is only a tool. You're going to need those friendships. You're going to need those relationships. So we can't put AI out there to address a lot of our social needs and our problems. That's where we have to be not only high tech here in Nashville, but high touch and building those relationships.
Brad, how do you see in the healthcare space AI really driving an enhanced sense of our humanity and our embodiedness and connection and relationships?
Yeah, I'd say two things. I think one, when people realize what the technology can do, it makes them also at the same time realize how important the relationship is, right? Because realize getting an answer from ChatGPT about whether you need to go to the ER is kind of helpful, but you really want to see a doctor who can talk to you about all the things that you're feeling in that moment. And so I think in some ways it enhances the importance of relationship. And just to go back to one point earlier on the economic development piece, you know, one thing that's been interesting about a city like Austin, and I think Nashville's on this same path, but is they started as big companies, in our case like Oracle and Amazon, but there it was Dell and others, you know, they initially moved kind of back office jobs. But what the city was really good at is over time selling those companies on moving more of their high tech jobs there. And I think that's the opportunity for us. We've landed some amazing companies, Amazon and Oracle in particular. And I think the more and more high tech jobs we can get them to move here over time, the more that places like Tennessee State and Vanderbilt are producing the kind of engineers and computer scientists that they can hire for their highest end jobs, creates a lot of opportunity for us in the future.
How do you see collaboration being driven in Nashville in an age of AI?
I mean, I see it more in the healthcare field, and I think in healthcare you kind of need this mix of investors, entrepreneurs, large companies who will pilot things. And I think things like the Chamber, the Nashville Healthcare Council, there's a number of organizations that kind of bring those folks together. And I think as you have those interactions, you just come up with projects to work on together. So I think this idea of clusters is real. We have great clusters in a number of fields, healthcare probably being, you know, healthcare and music probably being some of the biggest. And I think just doubling down on those clusters that are working, where we really are the best in the country, is a huge opportunity.
We're talking about Partnership 2030. I want you to project out the impossible question to project to 2030, and you're not going to be held accountable because everybody who ever predicts 5 or 10 years out laughs when you look backwards. But if you were to look to 2030 and collaboration in the age of AI in Nashville particularly, what would make you look back and say, boy, we did it well? And what would make you depressed to say, it's been a colossal mistake? How we developed it in Nashville. Sam?
Well, if we're not being held accountable, then let's just, you know, dream big.
Yeah.
You know, I think a couple things I would love to
You're
see.
accountable for execution.
No, right. I just have to do what I say. Yeah, so I think what's different about generative AI, this sort of traditional AI, which again, all of you are using traditional AI. You're saying, you know, hey Siri, hey Alexa, you're putting in address in your GPS, what's going to get me there. So that's just giving you back information. I think generative AI has a chance for us to go from information to meaning. And so here's all the information we can distill, but what does it mean? And so it's something to get a list, but then what's the decision I make from this list? And so as it keeps getting better, I've watched companies pitch and been to meetings where we're going to be able to take massive data sets. You could look at 176 years of chamber data. You could look at all the years of Nashville data and be able to predict what's the highest likelihood of a power outage in the next 30 days based on the current climate. And so that helps position where should trucks be. We could look at it from a transit decision-making standpoint. So to me, that's what would be exciting, was to be able to say, we made this city more welcoming, more friendly, a better place to live for everybody, but also for entrepreneurs, because we made it easy to get around, because we made smart decisions about transit based on data through these tools and resources so we can make smart decisions. Ditto for things like affordable housing, like livability, all of this stuff would be the best way to really take advantage of it and look back in time. The worst case is if we're just able to produce a new song that Johnny Cash singing Wu-Tang. I think it's like, that was neat. I'm glad we used that to produce that, but here we are still in traffic paying high rents. So that's my hope, is that we use it to provide meaning from data.
Thanks. Robbie?
Education. Starting from preschool up, that we embrace this technology, that we understand what it can and cannot do, but we also look at the opportunities. And in 2030, if I look back in our educational system, that's going, again, K-12, higher ed, lifelong learning. And we did not step up to be the innovators, the entrepreneurships, and all of those partnerships, then I'm going to be very, very sad. Then I'll have to put off my retirement.
I remember when Clay Christensen was talking years ago about how the computer had really just turned into a glorified typewriter, that we hadn't really educationally taken advantage of the affordances that computers provided, and it was kind of sobering to realize that's essentially how I treated a computer. So the opportunities are pretty tremendous if we can get there.
Add everyone here has a smartphone. You have more technology in that smartphone than what we sent Apollo 14 up in the air, and we play Candy Crush. We have to take advantage of all of this technology, and it's right there, affordable. We have these big tech companies coming in. Why can't Nashville be the innovation hub versus the East Coast?
Indeed. Brad, 2030, best case, worst case.
Yeah, well, ultimately I defer to the mayor and Ralph. This is their area of expertise. But I live in East Nashville, so I'm a little biased. But I think with more companies being over there, with Oracle being over there, with a lot of investment coming in, you know, when you think about places like San Francisco, Sand Hill Road in the Bay Area, when you think about like Mass Ave with all the pharma companies between MIT and Harvard on a stretch of road, there is something to physical place, and I think the East Bank is just a huge opportunity for the city. I defer to the mayor and Ralph on how we should really use that, but I think there's just a lot of opportunity as we think about that project.
And what worries you, or worst case 2030, you look back and you think, how'd we blow it?
I think this high-tech piece is really important. I think us just continuing to move the city to the very best tech jobs is an important journey, because I think tech is going to be more and more important over time.
Well, it's a great note to end on, that 2030 could be a really exciting time for Nashville if we build on our strengths and address some of the challenges. Thank you all for this wonderful conversation this morning. Join me in thanking them.
Well, you guys didn't have to exit. There was more applause coming. But look, one of the things I like to draw attention to, and I'm going to use the theme of Greg Jones, Radical Champions. What you saw in this panel up here is a great demonstration of the kind of leadership that comes to Nashville, or is part of Nashville, when these new ideas emerge. One of the great advantages, I think, to Nashville is, first of all, we recognize a good idea when we see it, and then we use that idea to catapult us forward. When you look at the people that were on this panel, those are the people that are catapulting us forward, and you as leaders, AI is a great advantage, but your leadership is really where the judgment and the force comes from. So thanks to the panel. Let's hear it for them one more time. Mayor, it's great to be back in Mesh again, so thank you for your leadership. We're also going to do, we have 4 giveaways, and I am going to refer to my script. This year we have 4 exciting giveaways for you. If you have a red heart sticker on the back of your program, red heart sticker on the back of your program, here are the gifts, and come forward to receive them. A $250 gift card courtesy of Miles Auto Spa, great place, by the way. A pair of Prime Predator hockey tickets, courtesy of Cromwell Media, 102.5 The Game. Aha, okay, we have a winner. 2 round-trip tickets anywhere in the U.S., courtesy of Southwest Airlines. I don't know who has that one. And also want to say thank you to Tanger Outlets for providing canvas totes for everyone today. You all found them at your seat. You have details and coupons for their grand opening weekend this Friday. Remember how excited we were to break ground on Tanger Outlets? Well, you are about to be able to shop Tanger Outlets. So that happens this weekend with live music, giveaways, and fun activities. All right, lead that applause. Everyone, there is a great collaborative opportunity going forward here. Nashville is in a unique place to capitalize. We have the creative juice to make that collaboration and AI propel this community forward in a prosperous way. Maintain your leadership. Thank you for your engagement, and we are concluded. Thank you.